Hey, what's up guys, welcome to the 8th episode of PHP with MySQL crash course for beginners, user-defined functions. Let's say if you want to use some block of code multiple times, you can define it as a function, and it'll also be easier for you to efficiently maintain and update your code. For example, here we have Visual Studio Code as our code editor, and if you need to learn more about VS Code, you can watch my VS based series and find the link in the description below. So let's bring up our Explorer, and I'm gonna make a copy of this sample.php, and let's rename it as functions.php. Hopefully I don't have any typo mistake. Hit enter, and let's close the Explorer as well as this sample, and let's bring up our Explorer. And before you browse the page that you have just created, always make sure that you have turned on your XAMPP server. So to do that, I have brought up my terminal, and let's change the directory to say cd opt lamp, and let's list the directory, and you need to execute this file to launch XAMPP server. So to do that, let's type sudo /manager. Make sure there shouldn't be any typo error. -linux -x64.run. Hit enter, and that should launch the XAMPP server. It has launched our XAMPP server, and to start our Apache server, you just need to click on this start button, and it'll take a couple of moments to start the web server. And alright, so let me get rid of the XAMPP server window as well as this terminal window. And now let's get back to VS Code, and just make sure that you have successfully started your web server. I'm gonna add some PHP code there, and let's echo hello world followed by semicolon. Hit save, and let's bring up our browser, and now let's call or browse localhost php tutorial as well as the name of the file that we have just created, which is functions.php. Hit enter, and that's successfully working. Let me resize the browser as well as the editor, and let me cut that line of code from there and move on to our focus, which is functions or user-defined functions. First, I'm gonna define a function, then I'll explain it to you. So function parentheses, couple of curly braces, go to the next line, and let's echo followed by quotes as well as semicolon, and I'm gonna echo here, say hello followed by, it'll also need a parameter, say $name. Let's add that variable here, and let's add some sign of exclamation, and let's type in here welcome to our web application. Let me wrap the header, and after that you would also like to add a couple of line breaks. Hit save. Now let's explain it. It did not auto reload, so to make it work, if you want to auto reload the page as you make changes to your source document, you just need to open this document in the live server by clicking on this go live button, and just close that tab for now. And let's get back to VS Code, right click and click on this option PHP server to launch PHP server, and let's close the terminal as well as these notifications. And after starting both the extensions. Just refresh your page once, and after that it will work, hopefully. So if I echo, or that should be within the PHP context. Let's take this there and add in here HH, just to make sure that auto reload is working. Alright, so that's working. Let's cut that from here and let's get back to the explanation. Now, to define a function or user defined function in PHP, you can use function keyword followed by the name of the function, as we have used here. The name of the function, after that is going to be, say, greet user, followed by a couple of parentheses, and within these parentheses you would like to receive any parameter. And then we have got this block of code that represents the body of the code. In this example, the function is named greet user, and parameters are enclosed within parentheses. As we have here, we have defined only one parameter after the function name. Here, $name is a parameter, whereas an argument is a value passed during function invocation, and we'll get to that in a little bit. The function body is enclosed within curly braces right here. This block of code is called the body that you can define within these curly braces. This function greet user takes one parameter, $name, and echoes a greeting message using the echo statement. Now let's talk about how you can call or invoke your own defined function. Once a function is defined, as we have defined here, you can call or invoke it multiple times throughout your PHP script to perform the defined task. For instance, let's call this greet function just by greet user, and that should suggest the function. Hit enter followed by semicolon, and now you will need to pass here an argument that it requires here as a parameter, say $name. So name can be within double quotes John. And now if you hit save, that outputs or echoes the line of code that we have assigned here, say hello John, welcome to our web application. Secondly, we are going to jump into callback. Callback is a function that is passed as an argument. In this case, first of all, the callback is executed, then rest of the code. So first you would like to let me add some comment. Say function definition. Here we have defined this function, and here we have, or say function invocation. Let's comment that out as well. Now let's go to the next line and let's add callback function, say that can be greet. Let's comment that out, and before we call the callback, let's define it first. And you can define a callback just the same as you have defined this ordinary or basic function. So let's define it followed by the function keyword, and the name of the function can be, say, greet. Let's add some parentheses followed by curly braces, and here you would also like to have, say, $name. And let's go to the next line and let's echo within quotes hello, comma, space followed by the name. And let's go to the new line and let's add some line break there. So that is our callback function. Now after defining our callback function, let's define a function that will accept our callback function. Say function accepting the callback. Let's comment that out and let me add some row. And now let's move all the way up. Alright, so let's define a function back again, and let's call this perform callback. Let's make this with lowercase b, followed by a parenthesis, and that will receive a couple of variables, say $callback and $name, followed by the body. And the body can include, say, I'm gonna add in here if else statement, and the condition would be, say, you would like to verify if the function is callback or not. So to do that, you can invoke a function, built-in function, which is underscore callable, and that needs one argument, say callback, that will call, and after that you would like to call the callback. Let's comment this out, meaning that if the condition is true, and the condition is, say, if the function we are calling as a callback is callback or not. So if that's true, you would like to call the function, say, and you can call that function just by call underscore user func, and that needs one argument, two arguments, say $callback comma $name, that we will pass as an argument, and after that you'd like to echo how sorry are you, question mark, and let's terminate the statement by adding semicolon, and let's go to the else statement, else block. Say if that's not true, I forgot to add here semicolon, that's why we get this error or red line, underline. So that's an indication that you have some mistake. So now let's define the else block, that can be, you would like to echo invalid callback, meaning that whatever we have called here as a callback, if that is true or that is callback, this block of code will be executed, otherwise we'll go to the else block of code and this line of code will be executed. And you can, after that, let's call this function, which is perform callback. Let's invoke the perform callback. Let's comment that out and go to the next row, and let's invoke perform callback. And as we have defined here, it needs two variables. Number one is callback and the second is the name. So the callback would be the greet that we have defined here, and the name can be any, say greet, name can be, say Alice. Let's make this double quote as well, greet. That makes some consistency. So terminate the statement by adding semicolon and now hit save. Alright, so that says hello Alice. Say if for some reason it's not callback, that should echo invalid callback. Let's scroll all the way up and Finally, you would be interested in callback as an anonymous function while calling perform callback. By the way, an anonymous functions are functions in PHP that do not have any specific name and can be defined inline wherever they are needed. So let me comment this invocation just for now. Let's go to the next line and invoke this perform callback again right here, and I'm gonna add some comment here. Say invoke callback as an anonymous function. Let's comment that out. And let's uncomment that line of code, and I'm gonna cut this first argument from here, and let's add in here, say you can define an anonymous function if you would define a normal function. So let's add in here function keyword, and since we are using a callback as an anonymous function, you don't need to add a name here, followed by parenthesis, and let's add $name here. And now after that, let's define the body of an anonymous function. So I'm gonna cut that name from here as well. Let's keep it right there because we'll need it. And within the body of our anonymous function, let's go to the next row or next line. Let's echo there within quotes, hey there, comma, and let's concatenate name. And I'm also gonna concatenate here, say comma, and that should do, semicolon, and let's add a comma here as well to avoid that error. Alright, so let's hit save, and we get the message, hey there Alice, how are you? If you notice that we do not have this row, how are you, this row is defined here in our perform callback. So this function actually invokes the callback and the name. So from here, this line or this line of a string is coming right from here. And that was all about user defined and callback functions. If you have any question, you just feel free to comment below, and do not forget to like, share and subscribe the channel. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.